Right, and hello there, and here we go. You remember these little bad boys, Rock Lords? Absolutely fantastic, very, very big in the 80s from what I can remember. Originally went hand in hand with the GoBot franchise, with that little movie they made, the GoBots meet or versus the Rock Lords, where Fossilosaurus was in, and he was generally quite fucking badass. But yes, this particular geezer is one of the original Rock Lords, which was made by Bandai, I do believe, and it is Brimstone. Look at them gnarly little gnashes. Here's some, well, obviously transforming into a rock, and you can generally see that this is something trying to sneakily describe, well, disguise as a hot salmon pink rock. And you can't say no fairer than that. Now, I picked this geezer up at a car boot, and I was well happy to get my hands on him because he's something that I used to have back in the day. I can remember this toy really, really well. So let's just generally move this camera along so I have a bit more hand space, we'll say, and I'll show the transformation. It's quite easy, really. It's just a case of pulling the limbs down and generally popping the arms out and popping the little teethy mouth thing up so you can see him with his generally lovely smile that he has there. And yeah, that's it. So picked him up, well happy to get hold of him. Then I discovered he's got bad legs. I mean, he can stand up really, really well, but you know, that ain't doing nowhere, is it? You know what I mean? That ain't doing no good. So in this video we're going to actually look at how to repair Rock Lords. Generally loose limbs. Now I've covered loose limbs quite a few times on this, but on this program, at least 3 or 4. But I've never actually opened up a Rock Lord, so I'm kind of looking forward to this one. Some sort of weird curiosity. What is inside of Brimstone? Right, so again, I'm just going to generally swifty the camera along because we're experimenting with the camera angles here, and we're going to get going. So, what I do think is the most common problem, it's going to be in here. I reckon there's some leg attachments in there, kind of swivel pin joints, I would say. So, you're going to need to get yourself a good old screwdriver, badoosh, and we're going to start with taking off 1, 2, 3 screws and opening up the entire body panel. Now I've got no idea how this is going to go down, so like I said, first time for everything. So I'm going to make sure I've got my little pot ready to pop all the screws in so I don't lose any, and I'm hoping that this is going to be quite easy and not generally a pig to put back together. Oops. I mean, anything's possible, really, eh? I mean, like I said, I used to have these back in the day, Rock Lords, and to find one at a car boot was absolutely magical. It was like, yes, a Rock Lord. And picked him up, took him home. Oh, and there we go. It's a coming, and the back panel's off. Bloody hell, look at that. No way, actually solid metal pin joints are inside Rock Lords. Who would have thought it? That's solid metal. Jesus. Fantastic. I would have just thought you were looking at your general plastic shite, not solid metal rivets. Jesus, if one of them breaks, hard time replacing that, my mate. If anyone ever comes across a broken Rock Lord that they want to donate to the channel so I can fix it, anything with this sort of problem, send it in. That would be really awesome for me to have a look at and have a go. Right, so what we're going to try and do this, we've got the PTFE tape. You can buy this from most stores. This one I actually purchased from the little shop down the road. The little shop down the road. Right, now I'm going to use a minimal amount of this because I don't generally want to upset the balance of the Rock Lord. So I'm just going to gently twist and turn all that around the actual joint. we can. We're going to need some more pieces, and we need to arrange this camera so you can see what's going on properly, because it is a bit awkward to actually get the best sort of angles when you're doing shit like this, because obviously I need to see what I'm doing, but you need to see what's happening, else this is not a fun show to watch. It's just me mucking around going, oh, you should do this to fix your toys, and no one gets to see anything because of the general kerfuffle, and no one likes kerfuffle. I mean, it was quite a bizarre concept, the Rock Lords, really, wasn't it? I mean, right, so yeah, we've done that. I'm going to sit that in there, and we're just going to carry on with the other leg. I do apologise about the audio there. We did, my battery kind of ran out on my phone, so I had to start again, so I do apologise if you missed any of that last section. And you've just caught me just doing the figuring out that my phone's dies and generally starting on the other leg. Now this PTFE tape, you might have to give it a few minutes to get to grips with it, because it is kind of fiddly and not the easiest thing to work with. Right, so there you go. That is both legs done. Now I'm hoping that should solve the problem. It might not, but there we go. I'm going to put the back section back on him. I can feel that's made. No. I figured I know what I'm going to do. I'll use this piece of tape here. It's on the side because it's actually this joint here that I need to tape up. You need to put more tape round the base of the pin, just under there, and then we need to place it in there like that. Right, so now we've got the back panel. I'm going to put the back panel back on him. Give that a good twist. Now I was thinking I might do the arms, but I'm figuring I'm going to leave the arms a bit, because you don't really need much movement in the arms itself. Generally you just need movement in the you need the movement in the arms, but the movement ain't that bad. It's the legs that were the problem, and that seems to have done them quite a treat, I must say. Right, snap that bit back in there, get my screws. Job's a good one. Yeah, anyway, I went off on a tangent, didn't I? Before I was talking about the Rock Lords. So yeah, so it was basically a lot of robots that used to transform into rocks, stones, fossils. Occasionally you got the ones that turned into the fancier ones, like gold and silver, nuggets, I think the one was called. Then you got obviously the fancier ones, which I have never ever seen to this day, which used to be like silver. I think it was sapphire, emerald and ruby. Then you used to get things like the firestone and the sunstone and stuff like that. But yeah, the names are really generic, and a lot of them were just basically kind of stones. You know, there was no actual thought or reasoning behind it. It was like, I know, we've got a character, I need a name for him. What sort of stone is he? He's a brimstone. Therefore, that's where you get your name from, brimstone. Right, and there you go. Let's put him down. Let's move this so we can get a better view on him. Excuse me for if you suffer from motion sickness. Right, so let's have a look at him in all his glory. So yeah, that was quite an easy fix, and I was really impressed with the actual joints in there. I didn't think they'd be solid metal. I've opened up a few transformers and they just seem to be like plastic pivots. So to find something like that in this toy was quite a quite a joy, and something really awesome to look at. I mean, you opened him up. He wasn't very intricate, but I suppose you could delve deeper into it if you really wanted to. And as you can see, shaking him there, them legs ain't going nowhere. He stands incredibly well now, and as you can see, really stiff joints now. It's like it's come out of the packet. Look at that, absolutely fantastic. Now he's going to be a bit loose on the kicking motion, but that's because I'd have to fix the pivot inside of here, and I didn't think there was any need to, because you know, to do that it's going to interfere with the actual transforming mode really, and I didn't want to make that too sort of stiff. Same as with the arms, because you're going to have a bit of free range sort of movement in there. So yeah, that's my video of slightly reminiscing about Rock Lords, especially old Brimstone here, and the other ones that were actually in the program and the series. Opening them up, seeing how a Rock Lord works, and generally fixing the loose legs. So if you slightly enjoyed this trip down Nostalgiaville and generally enjoyed seeing and repairing Rock Lords, then drop a like and subscribe, and please in the comments tell me about what your favourite Rock Lord was, if indeed you ever had one as a child in the 80s. I suppose mine is going to actually be Brimstone here, because I can remember having him, Sticks and Stones, and of course Boulder. I do recall having a purple rock like a beast that turned into some sort of creature, but I can't remember his name for the life of me. So yeah, everyone have a fantastic day. Please like, share and subscribe, and definitely leave me comments on your thoughts of the Rock Lords. See you all later on another Fix It video or a toy hunting video. Have a good life. Ta-ra.